AutoLine at CES is brought to you by Magna and Sabic, and by Borg Warner, Bose, ETAS, and Gentex.
Trevor Paul's in charge of all kinds of future mobility. Hello there.
It's good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Here we are ensconced in a little, sort of a conference room at CES.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's this little war room, It's
right.
like bunker.
Right. But anyway, I was starting to tell people you run like future mobility stuff for the state of Michigan.
Yeah. So really, I do two things. So we look to create like the regulatory rights of way for the future of transportation, or like the laws, the policies you need to have a new technology in a community. And then we also stitch together these public-private partnerships that allow companies access to, say, our infrastructure, to build the road of the future, or to activate a really cool old building like the Michigan Central Station. So we're working forward in the city of Detroit to bring 5,000 tech workers down to Detroit. So those are the types of partnerships that my office helps create.
Yeah, one thing that I've liked too is you're really starting to create a sort of an incubation of innovation in Michigan, especially in Southeast Michigan and the like. And, a few years ago when you and I talked about this, I thought, great idea, but I'm skeptical. We'll see what happens. Today I'm here to tell you.
You were skeptical. You played it off well.
Well, look, I thought the strategy was good. I know the goal is absolutely right. But then you got to pull it off. And the way I'm looking at it now, it's starting to happen.
100%. I mean, you really you can't just look at economic development and industry growth. Granted, 1 in every 5 jobs in the state is a mobility job. So you got to start there, and you got to protect that base. We're going to see natural displacement with the advent of electric vehicles in our supply chain. So you got to backfill that with other modes of transportation. And so we're trying to start national conversations, for instance, around air mobility, the future of transit, the future of trucking, the future of off-road vehicles. And by doing that and offering your sort of infrastructure, universities, your workforce to say, like, hey, how can we help you solve these global challenges first in Michigan? If you get it right in Michigan, I bet you can go to some other states and some other countries and get it right as well. And, those public-private partnerships I mentioned earlier, in 2 years, we've done 89 public-private partnerships of varying sizes. It could be from, getting maybe a last-mile transit option in Flint to help a bus service, to building out a road in Detroit that charges an electric vehicle as it's in motion, or like a partnership with the National Park Service to roll out new technology to help with things like congestion during peak season. All of that has netted nearly $500 million, $500 million in just organic investment. And that includes like projects that we put down $1, and then the industry puts down $1, and then there's follow-on funding because the company we're working with, their investors really love that project in Michigan, and they saw the impact that it could make globally, so they put more money in. And so that's how you do it. Like that, you got to show people like this is still the place it was 120 years ago as it relates to like you can do anything here if it's moving transportation forward.
Well, what's the change too? Clearly the city of Detroit has had an amazing renaissance in the last decade, but that's not enough just to get people to come and start thinking about investing in Michigan, the Detroit area, and the like, bringing high tech in there. But I'm starting to see it happen.
Yeah, you are, and part of that I think is because of our OEMs saying like, hey, we need to expand our business. Look at GM and BrightDrop, looking at the future of package delivery. The news made here with Stellantis and Archer around the flying car. It's finally here, right? And I think startups are beginning to see that this is more than just the sparks that steal the town. Although it's still that if you need something done and you need it done quick and affordably. But beyond that, there's great support. We look to inventory the various mobility challenges around the state. So whether it's helping the elderly get to a doctor's appointment a bit sooner, helping folks in the remote parts of the state still be able to have access to electric vehicles. There's charging nearby, even though it's unconventional. So say, maybe we use solar panels to keep that station going, or we, hook it into a lighthouse along the water. Like there's different creative ways to solve these problems. The government isn't going to be able to have all the solutions. And you know what? There's a lot of great companies in Michigan, but we don't have all the solutions either. So we're saying to all of these companies around the world, like, help us. Come here, help us change the world. And it's beginning to work. And if I'm a startup and I'm giving my all to this, I want a state, I want a place that will give their all back. And that's what we're trying to do. Get the policy right, get the grants and the financial support right, introduce you to a few customers, and then give you a really juicy problem to solve. And if you can solve it here, you can solve it anywhere. I keep saying that, guys. True.
Yeah. So pre-COVID, when you got started in this, you sort of laid out the vision of where you were going to take it.
Yep.
I'm starting to see it happen. Take me out to the end of the decade. Where do you see it going?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to continue to win battery plants. I think we're going to continue to see assembly plants for not just our Detroit automakers, but I think we'll see further investment there. I think we're going to see some new automakers here and some new transportation companies that aren't even necessarily auto, but just want to be in Michigan and take advantage of our workforce. I think you're going to see our cities get smarter, safer. I think you're going to see charging be more convenient. You're going to be able to fit it into your daily life, and it's going to be something that I think will be inviting. You'll feel left out if you don't have an electric vehicle. And you know what? And there will be rebates and opportunities for even those maybe that don't make the most money, but work hard. There'll be opportunities for them to own an electric vehicle too. And those transit vehicles are going to be electric too. I mean, the thing is, you can create a world with electric vehicles where there are haves and have-nots. And that's not what we want to do in Michigan. We want to make sure that it's not a repeat of, say, the interstate system of the 50s, where everyone can be a part of this, and where these chargers are located, where you're able to drive your vehicle, you're not limited. Michigan is a place where you're not limited. And you know what? We're also working with other states around the Midwest to make sure that it's a consistent experience if you want to drive from Detroit to LA. Just as you go into a Starbucks in Michigan, it's basically the same if you went to one in Salt Lake City. That's what we want the charging experience to be. So I think we're going to lead as it relates to EV industry. We're going to lead as it relates to rolling out charging infrastructure. And we're going to become much more of a multimodal leader. Drones, trucking, whatever it is, we want to lead.
Okay, like I said, a few years ago, I was skeptical.
You got me going.
I know.
You got me going.
I know.
I'm just talking.
Right. Well, that's good. I want to live in that future.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to.
I think you will too.
Yeah.
And the other thing I should add, can I?
Yeah, go.
So there's two assets I'm really watching this year. So we have a smart parking lab that's focused on the future parking. In the future,
I've been there. I've seen it.
Yeah, not just like the actual technology that can happen from wireless charging to running diagnostics when you're in your spot and the car is stationary, but also just the active parking, which causes nearly 30% of congestion emissions in cities. So we're doing a bunch of cool things around the future parking, future of the curb. The curb is a very important piece of real estate, man. And then you think about the airline experiences, people travel more. We have an airport innovation lab in Grand Rapids with Southwest Airlines, and nearly every quarter we're testing out autonomous lawnmowers, autonomous wheelchairs, digital twins of the airport to run digital scenarios. AI to help you find, or help your bags get to the plane a little faster, help you find a parking spot a bit quicker. So we're thinking about revolutionizing that experience as well.
That's pretty good because I didn't even know about any of that stuff, and I was already on board with what you're doing. So
I got one more. You want
okay,
more?
well, hear it.
All right,
let's hear it.
We are building out an electrified Route 66 around Lake Michigan, and we're working with Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana, a reliable EV route. This was actually the governor's idea.
And this I do know. So you can drive all around the Great Lakes and always know that you got a place to charge.
So the point is, mobility isn't just a Southeast Michigan, Detroit thing. We think that we can create these charging experiences in our tourism clusters that are inviting. They're like town squares. It's I gotta be near my charging station because there's music. It's right next to retail. We want to make this something that people look forward to.
Awesome. Trevor, thanks. Really interesting.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what?
What?
Can we be here again this time next year, 2024?
Probably.
All right, let's do it. It's a date.
It's a date.
All right.